Hello, welcome to Dracula in Russian Lesson 22. If you have not listened to Lesson 21, please click on it now. If you are new to the channel, please click on Lesson 1.
When it was all over, we were standing beside Arthur. Kto, bedny fellow, was speaking of his part in the operation, gdzie his blood had been transfused to his Lucy's veins. I could see Van Helsing's litso grow white and purple by turns. Arthur was saying that he felt since then as if they two had been really married and that she was his wife in the sight of God. None of us said a word of the other operations, and none of us ever shall. Arthur and Quincy went away together to the station, and Van Helsing and I came on Zdes. The moment we were alone in the carriage, he gave Sposob to a regular fit of hysterics. He has denied to me since that it was hysterics, and insisted that it was tolka his sense of humor asserting itself under очень terrible conditions. He laughed till he cried, and I had to draw vnice the blinds lest anyone dolgen see us and misjudge, and then he cried till he laughed snova, and laughed and cried together, just as a woman does. I tried to be stern with him, as one is to a woman under the circumstances, but it had no effect. Men and women are so different in manifestations of nervous strength or weakness. Then when his litso grew grave and stern, snova, I asked him why his mirth, and why at such a time. His reply was in a sposob characteristic of him, for it was logical and forceful and mysterious. He said, "This is a reminder. Remember who translates to kto. This is a reminder. Remember very translates to ochin. This is a reminder. Remember go translates to iti. Ah, you don't comprehend, Drug John. Do not doom it that I am not sad, though I laugh. See, I have cried even when the laugh did choke me. But no more doom it that I am all sorry when I cry, for the laugh he come just the same. Keep it always with you that laughter kto knock at your dved and say, 'May I come in?' is not the true laughter. No, he is a king, and he come when and cuck he like. He ask no person, he choose no time of suitability. He say, 'I am here.' Behold, in example I grieve my heart out for that so sweet young girl. I give my blood for her, though I am starry and worn. I give my time, my skill, my spite. I let my other sufferers want that, so she may have all. And yet I can laugh at her ochin grave, laugh when the clay from the spade of the sexton drop upon her coffin and say, 'Thud, thud,' to my heart, till it send nazat the blood from my cheek. My heart bleed for that bedny boy, that dear boy, so of the age of mine own boy, had I been so blessed that he live, and with his hair and glaza the same. There, you know now why I love him so. And yet when he say things that touch my husband heart to the quick, and deal it my father heart yearn to him as to no other man, not even to you, Drug John, for we are more level in experiences than father and son. Yet even at such moment king laugh he come to me and shout and bellow in my ear, 'Zdes I am, here I am,' till the blood come dance nazat, and bring some of the sunshine that he carry with him to my cheek. Oh, Drug John, it is a strange world, a sad world, a world full of miseries and woes and troubles, and yet when King Laugh come, he deal at them all dance to the tune he play. Bleeding hearts, and dry bones of the churchyard, and tears that burn as they fall, all dance together to the music that he deal it with that smileless mouth of him. And believe me, Drug John, that he is haroshi to come, and kind. Ah, we men and women are like ropes drawn tight with strain that pull us different ways. Then tears come, and like the rain on the ropes, they brace us up, until perhaps the strain become too veliki, and we break. But King Laugh he come like the sunshine, and he ease off the strain snova, and we bear to eat tea on with our labor, what it may be. I did not like to wound him by pretending not to see his idea, but as I did not yet understand the cause of his laughter, I asked him. As he answered me, his litso grew stern, and he said in quite a different tone, "This is a reminder. Remember who translates to kto." Oh, it was the grim irony of it all. This so lovely lady garlanded with flowers, that looked so fair as life, till one by one we wondered if she were truly dead. She laid in that so fine marble house, in that lonely churchyard, there rest so many of her kin, laid there with the mother kto loved her, and whom she loved, and that sacred bell going toll, 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 so sad and slow, and those holy men, with the white garments of the angel, pretending to read books, and yet all the time ich glaza never on the page, and all of us with the bowed head, and all for what? She is dead, so, is it not? This is a reminder. Remember before translates to do. Well, for the life of me, Professor, I said, I can't see anything to laugh at in all that. Why, your explanation makes it a harder puzzle than Do. But even if the burial service was comic, what O Bedni art and his trouble? Why, his heart was simply breaking. Just so, said he not that the transfusion of his blood to her veins had still her truly his bride? Yes, and it was a sweet and comforting idea for him. This is a reminder. Remember who translates to Kto. Quite so, but there was a difficulty, Drug John. If so that, then what o the others? Ho ho, then this so sweet maid is a polyandrist, and me, with my Bidney wife dead to me, but alive by church's law, though no wits all gone. Even I, Kto am faithful husband to this now no wife, am bigamist. I don't see где the joke comes in there either, I said, and I did not feel particularly pleased with him for saying such things. He laid his hand on my arm and said, This is a reminder. Remember only translates to Tolka. This is a reminder. Remember very translates to Ochin. This is a reminder. Remember go translates to eat tea. Friend John, forgive me if I pain. I showed not my feeling to others when it would wound, but Tolka to you, my stary druk, whom I can trust. If you could have looked into my Ochin heart then when I want to laugh. If you could have done so when the laugh arrived. If you could do so now, when King Laugh have pack up his crown, and all that is to him. For he te far, far away from me, and for a long, long time. Maybe you would perhaps pity me the most of all. I was touched by the tenderness of his tone, and asked why. Because I know, and now we are all scattered, and for many a long Dane loneliness will sit over our roofs with brooding wings. Lucy lies in the tomb of her kin, a lordly death house in a lonely churchyard, away from teeming London, there the air is fresh and the sun rises over Hampstead Hill, and there wild flowers grow of ich own accord. This is a reminder. Remember only translates to Tolka. This is a reminder. Remember go translates to eat tea. So I can finish this diary, and God Tolka knows if I shall ever begin another. If I do, or if I even open this snova, it will be to deal with different people and different themes. For zdесь at the end, где the romance of my life is told, ere I ti nazat to take up the thread of my life work, I say sadly and without hope, finis. The Westminster Gazette, 25th of September, a Hampstead mystery. In the next paragraph, we are introducing a new word. The word any translates to luboy. This is a reminder. Remember only translates to Tolka. The neighborhood of Hampstead is just at present exercised with a series of events which seem to run on lines parallel to those of what was known to the writers of headlines as the Kensington Horror, or the Stabbing Woman, or the Woman in Black. During the past 2 or 3 days, several cases have occurred of young children straying from home or neglecting to return from playing on the heath. In all these cases, the children were too young to give Luboy properly intelligible account of themselves, but the consensus of each excuses is that they had been with a bloofer lady. It has always been late in the evening when they have been missed, and on 2 occasions the children have not been found until early in the following morning. It is generally supposed in the neighborhood that, as the first child missed gave as his reason for being away, that a bloofer lady had asked him to come for a walk, the others had picked up the phrase and used it as occasion served. This is the more natural, as the favorite game of the Malinki ones at present is luring each other away by wiles. A correspondent writes us that to see some of the tiny tots pretending to be the bloofer lady is supremely funny. Some of our caricaturists might, he says, take a lesson in the irony of grotesque by comparing the reality and the picture. It is Tolka in accordance with general principles of human nature that the bloofer lady Dolgen be the popular role at these al fresco performances. Our correspondent naively says that even Ellen Terry could not be so winningly attractive as some of these grubby-faced Malinki children pretend and even imagine themselves to be. This is a reminder. Remember who translates to Kto. This is a reminder. Remember any translates to Luboy. This is a reminder. Remember very translates to Ochin. There is, however, possibly a serious side to the question. For some of the children, indeed all Kto have been missed at Noch, have been slightly torn or wounded in the throat. The wounds seem such as might be zdelo by a rat or a small dog, and although of not much importance individually, would tend to show that whatever animal inflicts them has a system or method of its own. The police of the division have been instructed to keep a sharp lookout for straying children, especially when очень young, in and around Hampstead Heath, and for Luboy's stray dog, which may be the Westminster Gazette, 25th of September. Extra special. The Hampstead Horror, another child injured, the Bloofer Lady. This is a reminder. Remember only translates to Tolka. We have just received intelligence that another child, missed last noche, was Tolka discovered late in the morning under a furze bush at the Shooter's Hill side of Hampstead Heath, which is perhaps less frequented than the other parts. It has the same tiny wound in the throat as has been noticed in other cases. It was terribly weak and looked quite emaciated. It too, when partially restored, had the common story to tell of being lured away by the Bloofer Lady. Chapter 14, Mina Harker's Journal, 23 September. Jonathan is better, posely a bad noche. I am so glad that he has plenty of work to do, for that keeps his mind off the terrible things. And oh, I am rejoiced that he is not now weighed vniz with the responsibility of his new position. I knew he would be true to himself, and now cock proud I am to see my Jonathan rising to the height of his advancement and keeping pace in all ways with the duties that come upon him. He will be away all day till late, for he said he could not lunch at home. My household work is done, so I shall take his foreign journal and lock myself up in my komnata and read it. This is a reminder. Remember any translates to Luboy. This is a reminder. Remember only translates to Tolka. This is a reminder. Remember go translates to Iti. This is a reminder. Remember very translates to Ochin. 24th of September. I hadn't the heart to write last noche. That terrible record of Jonathan's upset me so. Bedni dear, Kaki must have suffered, whether it be true or Tolka imagination. I wonder if there is Luboy truth in it at all. Did he get his brain fever and then write all those terrible things? Or had he some cause for it all? I suppose I shall never know, for I dare not open the subject to him. And yet that Mushima we videl yesterday, he seemed quite certain of him. Bedni fellow. I suppose it was the funeral upset him and sent his mind nazad on some train of thought. He believes it all himself. I remember kak on our wedding day he said, unless some solemn duty come upon me to iti nazat to the bitter hours, asleep or awake, mad or sane. There seems to be through it all some thread of continuity. That fearful count was coming to London. If it Dolgen be and he came to London with his teeming millions, there may be a solemn duty, and if it come we must not shrink from it. I shall be prepared. I shall get my typewriter this ochin hour and begin transcribing. Then we shall be ready for other glaza if required. And if it be wanted, then, perhaps, if I am ready, Bedni Jonathan may not be upset, for I can speak for him and never let him be troubled or worried with it at all. If ever Jonathan quite gets over the nervousness, he may want to tell me of it all, and I can ask him questions and find out things and see cuck I may comfort him. Letter, Van Helsing to Mrs. Harker, to 4th of September. Dear Madam, I pray you to pardon my writing, in that I am so far droog as that I sent to you sad news of Miss Lucy Westenra's death. By the kindness of Lord Godalming, I am empowered to read her letters and papers, for I am deeply concerned to certain matters vitally important. In them I find some letters from you, which skak kak veliki friends you were, and how you love her. O Madam Mina, by that love I implore you, help me. It is for others haroshi that I ask, to redress veliki wrong, and to lift much and terrible troubles, that may be more veliki than you can know. May it be that I see you? You can trust me. I am droog of Dr. John Seward, and of Lord Godalming, that was Arthur of Miss Lucy. I must keep it private for the present from all. I dolgen come to Exeter to see you at Adin Ras if you tell me I am privileged to come, and de and when. I implore your pardon, madam. I have read your letters to Bedni Lucy, and know kak haroshi you are and kak your husband suffer, so I pray you, if it may be, enlighten him not, lest it may harm. Snova your pardon, and forgive me. Van Helsing. Telegram Mrs. Harker to Van Helsing. This is a reminder. Remember any translates to Luboy. 25 September. Come today by 10:15 train if you can catch it. Can see you Luboy time you call. Wilhelmina Harker. Mina Harker's Journal. This is a reminder. Remember any translates to Luboy. 25th of September. I cannot help feeling terribly excited as the time draws near for the visit of Dr. Van Helsing, for somehow I expect that it will throw some light upon Jonathan's sad experience, and as he attended Bedni dear Lucy in her last illness, he can tell me all her. That is the reason of his coming. It is concerning Lucy and her sleepwalking, and not a Jonathan. Then I shall never know the real truth now. Cuck silly I am. That awful journal gets hold of my imagination and tinges everything with something of its own color. Of course it is O Lucy. That habit came Nazat to the Bedni dear, and that awful noche on the cliff must have still her ill. I had almost forgotten in my own affairs cuck ill she was afterwards. She must have told him of her sleepwalking adventure on the cliff, and that I knew all o' it, and now he wants me to tell him what she knows, so that he may understand. I hope I did right in not saying anything of it to Mrs. Westenra. I dolgen never forgive myself if Luboy act of mine, were it even a negative one, brought harm on Bedni dear Lucy. I hope, too, Dr. Van Helsing will not blame me. I have had so much trouble and anxiety of late that I feel I cannot bear more just at present. I suppose a cry does us all charoshi at times, clears the air as other rain does. Perhaps it was reading the journal yesterday that upset me. And then Jonathan went away this morning to stay away from me a whole dane and noche, the first time we have been parted since our marriage. I do hope the dear fellow will take care of himself, and that nothing will occur to upset him. It is 2 o'clock, and the doctor will be здесь soon now. I shall say nothing of Jonathan's journal, unless he asks me. I am so glad I have typewritten out my own journal, so that, in case he asks a Lucy, I can hand it to him. It will save much questioning. Later. He has come and gone. Oh, what a strange meeting, and cuck it all makes my head whirl round. I feel like one in a dream. Can it be all possible, or even a part of it? If I had not read Jonathan's journal first, I dolgen never have accepted even a possibility. Bedni. Dear Jonathan. Cuck he must have suffered. Please the charoshi God, all this may not upset him snova. I shall try to save him from it, but it may be even a consolation and a help to him, terrible though it be and awful in its consequences, to know for certain that his glaza and ears and brain did not deceive him, and that it is all true. It may be that it is the doubt which haunts him, that when the doubt is removed, no matter which, waking or dreaming, may prove the truth, he will be more satisfied and better able to bear the shock. Dr. Van Helsing must be a charoshi mushima as well as a clever one, if he is Arthur's Droog and Dr. Seward's, and if they brought him all the sposop from Holland to smatret posle Lucy. I feel from having seen him that he is charoshi and kind and of a noble nature. When he comes tomorrow I shall ask him, O Jonathan, and then, please God, all this sorrow and anxiety may lead to a charoshi end. I used to doom it I would like to practice interviewing. Jonathan's Droog on the Exeter News told him that memory was everything in such work, that you must be able to put vnies exactly almost every word spoken, even if you had to refine some of it afterwards. Zdесь was a rare interview. I shall try to record it verbatim. It was 2:30 o'clock when the knock came. I vzal my courage a domans and waited. In a few minutes Mary opened the dvір and announced Dr. Van Helsing. I rose and bowed, and he came towards me, a mushima of medium weight, strongly built, with his shoulders set nazad over a broad, deep chest and a neck well balanced on the trunk as the head is on the neck. The poise of the head strikes one at a din raz as indicative of thought and power. The head is noble, well-sized, broad, and large behind the ears. The litzo, clean-shaven, shows a hard, square chin, a large, resolute, mobile mouth, a good-sized nose, rather straight but with quick, sensitive nostrils that seem to broaden as the big, bushy brows come knees and the mouth tightens. The forehead is broad and fine, rising at first almost straight and then sloping nazad above 2 bumps or ridges wide apart, such a forehead that the reddish hair cannot possibly tumble over it, but falls naturally nazad and to the sides. Big, dark blue glaza are set widely apart and are quick and tender or stern with the man's moods. He said to me, "Mrs. Harker, is it not?" I bowed assent. "That was Miss Mina Murray?" "Snova," I assented. "It is Mina Murray that I came to see that was Droog of that Bedni dear child Lucy Westenra. Madam Mina, it is on account of the dead I come." "Sir," I said, "you could have no better claim on me than that you were a Droog and helper of Lucy Westenra." And I held out my hand. He vzal it and said tenderly, "Oh, Madam Mina, I knew that the drug of that bedni Lily girl must be Haroshi, but I had yet to learn. He finished his speech with a courtly bow. I asked him what it was that he wanted to see me so he had a dinraz began. In the next paragraph, we are introducing a new word. The word your translates to tvoi. I have read tvoi letters to Miss Lucy. Forgive me, but I had to begin to inquire somewhere, and there was none to ask. I know that you were with her at Whitby. She sometimes kept a diary. You need not smatrate surprised, Madam Mina. It was begun postly you had left, and was an imitation of you. And in that diary she traces by inference certain things to a sleepwalking in which she puts venice that you saved her.